Hey everybody, what's up? It's Kyle and KZ.
More people get their voice out there, then I think they'll realize like we're all the same, really.
KZ decided, let's do it. Took the bait, so here we are.
Veteran Chat Project.
Where it's encouraged to not be okay all the time.
And we're off. And this is
Powered by Riverside FM.
Every time.
it's got to start like that. Thank you for Riverside FM for existing and letting us host our podcast in multiple places. No, I'm not paid for them yet, but if you want to pay us, we will take the money. So, yeah, we're back with another episode of Veteran Chat Project. I'm Kyle.
In case Dawson, how you been, man?
Good, man.
Good. Yeah, we talked to Dawson 2 weeks ago, and then we had some.
We didn't.
Yeah, just catching back up. So introduce yourself, if you don't mind, to the people that don't know who you are. There's a lot of us in our close brotherhood friend group that know exactly who you are and what you mean to them. But to those who don't know, if you don't mind, just like a little brief intro about where you're from, your time in the Army, and what you do now, where you're at now.
Well, from West Virginia, 40 years old. I joined the Army right out of high school because, there wasn't a whole lot, to do in West Virginia. I did 15 years and, about 15 years, 3 months, and I think it was 8 days total. And then got out whenever I was in Louisiana. Well, of course, did 2 deployments. I went to Korea, did two deployments after that, and then went to good old Fort Polk, Louisiana, to be an OC for. I was an OC first, and then they disbanded the unit, so I went to be a warrior transition unit cadre for soldiers transitioning out of the Army. So we had to help guys, make sure they were going to get all their benefits that they deserved, especially the guys that came in wounded, stuff like that. Make sure they did all their appointments and trying to help them transition out of the Army and do it smoothly. And then, of course, 2015, my daughter was born, and it kind of solidified my wanting to get out, I guess you'd say, kind of being done. And the doctors kept asking me, "Hey, you ready to pull the trigger? Your knees are done. You ain't gonna run no more. Your back's messed up." And finally, I said, "Yeah, let's go ahead and do it." Got out, and then came over here to Killeen, Texas. Kind of hung out a little bit. The house I bought needed a whole lot of work, so I did a lot of that stuff. And did a couple little side jobs. I was going to try to start my own business here and there. Like I did bed lining, did some lawn mowing for a little while. Went to school for HVAC, and now I'm doing that. Well, actually, I'm doing HVAC and appliances and refrigeration and ice machines. And I'm getting ready to go to Sears.
You just got that new job, right?
Yeah, I'm going to Sears. I'll be solely appliances.
There you go.
Oh yeah, you don't have to. No more service calls. No more 2 a.m. phone calls because someone don't know how to work their thermostat.
Yeah, no more on call.
You ever have to? Yeah. Oh man, that's one of the reasons I was like, I don't want to do that because I wouldn't last.
Learning how to be tactful in the Army, it kind of helped me not tell people to go fuck themselves.
Right?
Hey, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Your shit's broke because you're stupid, or whatever. It kind of. I've had a couple times where people would. I was so mad that it felt like the whole house was shaking.
Oh damn.
And I just had to walk out. But I think being in the military helps you kind of deal with stuff like that better. Realize that because you can think, you can kind of think on your feet and know that I just need to go ahead and walk away.
Yeah. The do you think your time in that warrior transition unit helped you transition a little easier?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, definitely did. Well, I mean, for one, I kind of knew the importance of doing those VA visits
Mm,
on the way out,
yeah.
uh, and then it kind of you learn a lot of uh, resources for
Oh yeah.
soldiers. Like warrior transition units. They're you know just about anywhere that has one has the social workers and all them people that work with soldiers getting out. And it don't even matter if you're in the unit. You can go to the hospital on post and get sent over there to see them and work with them.
Yeah.
And it's just the USO works a lot with them, and uh, they've got like the programs like Louisiana Hunters for Heroes, for example.
Oh, that's
Those
cool.
and what's the other one? Wounded Warrior Project and stuff like that. They reach out to those warrior transition units to get volunteers for whatever, like the hunts and stuff that they do to help to get them out doing stuff
Yeah.
instead of just sitting in their room and thinking about deployments or whatever's going on in their head. You got because you got like we were talking last time, people getting like it happened to me. My ex-wife got knocked up while I was in Iraq, so it happens a lot, and
Yeah.
a lot of people that have to deal with that shit. So
Right.
just knowing a couple of resources to go to helps a lot.
Yeah, just I mean, going back to when you said getting out of the house, dude, just getting people off the couch and kind of out of their own head for a little bit can just do really some amazing stuff for people. So that's awesome. I know for me, like that first kind of getting out after the army was like I played disc golf a lot. So I started getting out, checking out new parks, checking out new like areas. I mean, there's disc golf park everywhere. You can get in to it fairly cheap unless you become addicted like I was, and I bought like way too many frisbees, but well, discs. They don't call them frisbees, but that's here nor there. Probably a whole nother episode on that, but basically, yeah, just getting people out of the house, man, is huge, especially if you're ever feeling like that. Um,
Louisiana Hunters for Heroes. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
yeah,
That's cool. I'm gonna have to look them up.
yeah, I was just made a note to kind of look up and see if they had
there's
anything like
a
that around me to kind of
there's a Texas
talk
Hunters
to.
for Heroes, but I don't know of any up north.
I'll look it up right now. Power of technology.
And there's one called Fishing for Freedom. They do fishing tournaments. I know they've done a couple here in Texas, they've done the one I went to was up in Missouri. I want to say,
How long was that?
huh?
How long was that?
How
How
long
long
was
was
it?
yeah that fishing thing?
So you go pretty much stay the whole weekend
Oh
with them,
dang!
and they'll do it like for veterans. All you got to do is like so with the Warrior Transition Unit, we drove up there in a government van, and I took because I was in charge of the like outdoor programs, and we took like 6 or 8 people up there and stayed. I think we left Friday, came back Sunday.
Oh, that's cool.
Uh, and then they did the fishing tournament. Like I think we did Friday, Saturday morning. We went out. fishing, and then the tournament was Sunday, so you fished 2 days. Pretty good. I mean, it was cold and
Yeah.
rainy, but it was still a good time. 'Cause you
I
meet a
just
lot of
looked it
good
up. There
people,
is one up here. I might have to reach out, because that sounds like a blast to me. Like I just got an ice fishing too, so I mean, like something like that would be cool. Even if I could offer up like my shack and like have veterans come out and come ice fishing with me next winter, dude. And,
Dude.
drink some beers and do some ice fishing, man, and then do an episode with them.
Dawson, would you ever go ice
Hang out.
fishing?
Oh,
Oh
come
yeah,
on.
Y'all are,
Let's
y'all
go.
are
Come on. I want you guys all to
yeah.
come out at the same time. Like we will go next year. I mean, we can still get out on the ice right now, but I'm not driving out there like late ice, but I mean, we're still frozen. I woke up this morning, it was negative
Dude,
10.
I've got arthritis in my back and like hip problems and everything. So I would probably have to like duct tape those little hand warmers all over my body,
Dude,
but I would do it.
I got a camper that's an ice fishing shack. So it's got 4 holes in it and it comfortably sleeps 5 people, 5 grown adults. It's got a TV, it's got 2 burners. We could sit there and play cards. I got a
What?
heater, bro. It's fucking good. I pull it out there on with my truck, drop it right on the ice and drill holes. We don't even have to leave that thing except for to take a piss.
So 10 if we're on top of each other.
Yeah. So 10 of us. Yeah.
That's cool. I mean,
10 a little 10 tanker snuggle.
that's cool. I'm still, yeah, I'm
No,
so
ice
afraid of the
fishing's gonna
cold
be a
weather.
blast, man. But it's called Hometown Heroes. Oh yeah, what is it? I already murdered it. Hometown Hero Outdoors.org. I'll have to look them up.
I wonder if,
It's up here in North Dakota. It says there's over 46,000 veterans currently residing in North Dakota. 7,600 active military personnel currently residing in North Dakota. So, and that's like, I mean, that's 60% of us right there. You know what I mean? There's not that many people up here because it's terrible. I mean, it's not bad, obviously. Great hunting, great fishing if you're into that. I'm gonna start doing some more fishing this year, but we've gotten a little off track, but
no,
that's
it's
fine.
great.
Talking hunting, fishing. I mean, that's definitely great activities to get people out of the house and um yeah, I know a lot of hunter, now a lot of people now that hunt. Rooster, he said that he's like a master. What do you call it? What do you say he was? Master bird hunter. So he's got pretty much almost every species in North America, except for like 6 or 7 birds that he's like hunted and captured. And what's funny, dude, is my brother's wife posted a picture the day after we talked to him, and I wouldn't have known anything about it, but she was like, they said it's a sandhill crane, and I was like, dude, Rooster said that's one of the ones that he hasn't gotten
Oh,
yet.
that's cool.
One of the 6 birds. So I sent him a picture. I was like, "There's one in my brother's backyard right now. Like, go get it." He's like, "Them's good eatings right there." Rooster. He's like, "I'm gonna carve them up and eat them real
Oh,
good."
dang. That's cool.
Yeah, but yeah. So hunting, fishing, definitely want to have you guys up to ice fish, man. Whoever wants to come up at any time next year, I will let you know as soon as it is. You fly to Fargo and I'll pick you up and we'll be on the lake within 30 minutes. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. We'll make it an hour, so we stop for some beers and some bait. Beers and bait and burritos.
Yep. Cheetos.
And Fritos and all the Ito family.
Dawson, how many,
And Funyuns.
you said in 2015 your daughter was born. How many, is she the only girl you got? That y'all
Yep.
got?
She's the only girl that I've got, but she's the only. I don't have any sisters. I don't have any nieces.
Mm,
So I'm the youngest of 5 boys, and I've got 5 nephews. And 3
dang.
boys,
Damn.
1 girl.
Oh, that
That man gene running strong with the Dawson
that makes a
boys.
lot of sense. That when you said making that decision once your daughter was born to get out.
Yeah, and like when it was with my wife too, like I wasn't going to put her through another deployment or
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it was
Yeah,
time.
that's tough. Yeah, I mean, well, I don't need to go on that for me, but I know that deployments and stuff can be tough on relationships. So yeah, that was, I mean, looking back, that's probably the right call. I mean, obviously, whatever the call you made is always the right call. Putting your family first, I think, is 100% the right choice every time. You gave the army plenty, and it's in its
Plenty.
biggest time of need, and they didn't need you no more, and your family absolutely did, dude. And
How did
I, I can,
had Angela take the what do you call it, the transition from being that military wife to just being out of the military from
Well, I
from
mean,
your perspective?
I think she was just really glad I got out.
Yeah.
But then, 'cause, I mean, so I was an alcoholic for a pretty long time. Uh, even before I was an alcoholic before I deployed. And then when I got back the first time, it was worse, you know.
Mm.
And then after the second time, it never obviously didn't get any better. So it was rough going for a while. I mean, she uh, there was a time when I left and was going to drive to West Virginia, and I don't know if I didn't know what was going to happen next.
Yeah.
But kind of just then I think I went did some therapy and stuff like that. After my mom got killed, and that was when I kind of just grew up, and I was like, yeah, I gotta stop this. If not for my family, for me too. So uh, that would be probably one of the hardest things she had to deal with. Really, is just watching me kind of spiral downward for a while, and because I mean, we all deal with the PTSD and
Yeah.
nightmares and dealing with shit we saw and shit we put up with, and then I got out, and then my mom got killed in a car accident, and she had
Man.
never even met my daughter, her only granddaughter.
Damn.
So that killed me. I mean, it did. And
I
so
bet.
obviously, after that, like everything got worse, and it was just I think I just kind of woke up,
Yeah.
and realized that part of what was wrong was, getting out of the army because it was all I knew. And dealing with that is hard. And if you don't do it right, then you can end up in a bad place.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, like you were talking about with that alcohol, man. I mean, alcohol is actually a depressant. So I mean, you might as well call that depression a fire, and that alcohol is it's just gonna light that shit. In my experience, anyway. Once you drop that bottle, it, again, it's as much of a revelation as getting outside for that first time and like getting that first breath of like, oh man, this feels good. Like it feels good. For the first time, you feel accomplished. And like, it's
Yeah.
huge. So I mean, I definitely like I know how much you liked to drink back then because I also liked to drink as much. We drank quite a bit. And so I mean, yeah, dude, I think that's great. I think it's awesome. So congratulations on on being able to just say like I don't drink.
And
Like for me, I just I take like a sip every now and then, or I'm like, oh hey, it's a really fun night. Like I'll have a beer, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't want this. Like, it makes my tummy hurt.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
like
that's
in
about
your 30s, hangovers just absolutely kill you, dude. They floor you to death, and you're just like, I can't believe I ever drank this much.
yeah. I mean, I would still drink even up until like last year. My brother went in the hospital. He had cirrhosis,
damn.
and he and COVID at the same time.
Holy shit.
And I mean, I freaking took money out of my retirement to drive up there just in case. And well, he got out of the hospital in like a week. Uh, but I still took the vacation and drove up there to see him because I was like, he has been an alcoholic since since he was probably like 17, 18,
Mm.
maybe even earlier. And he's 54, and I mean he would drink nonstop all day, every day.
Yeah.
And so he, whenever he got to where he could talk and everything, he told me, he said, you won't see me enough with another drink in my hand. And I was just kind of
Have
like,
you?
nope,
Damn, that's awful.
he quit.
Nice. That's
He
awesome. I mean, when you can actually
said,
tell
almost
yourself, like, hey,
dying
it's a
will wake,
problem.
he said, almost dying will wake you up. I said, well,
Shit,
I'm
yeah,
trying.
it really should. I mean, people don't really understand. Like, you really do get that flash. If you think you're about to die, you get that flash. And I had, uh, if you do, if you learn how to bounce back from stuff like that, it's really huge. Being resilient. I think resilient is just a huge, huge asset to have if you're struggling with anything. Um, so yeah, I mean, moving on a little bit. I know since we were kind of already on the family, I kind of wanted to touch on with both of you actually, kind of turn it over to Ask KZ first. Um, just about like the family thing that we were kind of talking about before we got on. Like the like how kind of having some of our issues and how it kind of affects our family, or how it kind of like even like in day-to-day basis, or if stuff pops through, you know what I mean? Like, I don't not I'm me my myself, I'm not perfect. I still have issues to this day. It's a lot better than it used to be. But I mean, sometimes, like, flip the whole house upside down because you can't find your keys type shit, or just, any kind of small stuff like really kind of would flip me out. And I know, like you mentioned, that Dawson was about like, once I had my kid, and like I saw that instant reaction in him when I would just like kind of flip over something stupid, and he just sitting there like terrified, and it was like, dude, it made me feel like the biggest piece of shit ever. And honestly, since he was born is really kind of when I started kind of thinking about like how I am inside of me kind of affects everybody around me, if that makes sense. Like, the whole, if you don't love yourself, no one's gonna love you type mindset. Like, that shit's true. You can spin it however you want, but like, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't expect anybody to want to stick around and take care of you. So I mean, like, I know you both have very strong wives in your life, so I know that you probably have been through it, but you also have, someone there to kind of go through it with you. So, like, how was that?
Um, no, it was no, no. It was. That's probably the toughest thing about transition for me was trying to balance like what was going on with me and how it was affecting my family. Because I wasn't as like I wasn't as I got out when I forgot what year I got out in 2015, but I forgot how old I was. I think I was 28. So I wasn't as mature as Dawson was when he said he actually went out and got some help. Like it took a long time for me to find that balance, and I'm still trying to find it today. And like, you know, it took it took my wife to like tell me like, because when I got out, my sole purpose was like, okay, like my identity's been stripped from me, like emotionally. My finances are gone. Like I don't have a safety net anymore. So financially, I have to try to find something new to provide for my family. So I was focused solely on like how to provide and how to do for them, and not worrying about like and not caring at all about my mental health and like how it affected them at all. So it took years, almost 6 years for 6 years after I got out for like Nikki one day to be like, hey, you need to realize like what's going on. Like when you have one of your like episodes or like you're pissed off because of or you get triggered because of something, Like, you need to realize how that's affecting the kids. Because, I mean, I, for one, didn't see that, unfortunately. And I feel so bad for my 3 older kids because I didn't see that until she had to, like, pretty much put it in my face. Like, you need to realize what's going on, how your emotions are affecting the kids. And I know that for since you've got out, you've been trying to focus on us, but you need to go fucking fix yourself, because that's the only way that everything else is going to line up. And like you both said, like, you gotta fix yourself first. And it took a long time for me to realize that I have to focus on myself first before I can help anyone else out, because it felt selfish to do that for the longest time. So trying to balance mental health and then balancing a relationship with my kids is and my wife is still something I'm learning how to do. I see the effects of my 3 older children because it's a combination of, one, I wasn't with them as much as I wanted to be because of the Army when they were born and when they were growing up in their first 4 years of life. So I kind of see that there, but at the same time, I also see the effects of, like, when I got out, how I acted, how I reacted, how triggers, what that stuff did to me. And there's sometimes where I feel like such a piece of shit dad, because they'll walk by and they'll notice that I'm upset over something, and, like, they're afraid to talk to me. And, like, I feel it's something I'm still trying to work on with my 3 older ones. My youngest one is, like, when he was born was right around when Nikki told me that, and that's when my relationship with my youngest is I wish it was like that with my 3 older ones, because when he was born, it was right around that time that I was trying to focus on myself and work on myself. And there are some days you can see there's a night and day difference between how my youngest treats me, or not treats me, but acts towards me, versus how my 3 older ones act towards me because of all that stuff.
Yeah, my wife likes to say the expression, like walking on eggshells. Like she don't know, like can't call it. She's like, I can't. Sometimes, like, are you gonna react really poorly to something I say? And in her defense is usually something super
Yeah.
trivial or minor, and I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck do you mean? How are you calling me a piece of shit
Yeah.
because of this? And it's like it ain't got nothing to do, and she ain't
Yeah.
asking nothing to do with that. And then I think, like, ultimately, like, just being able to take that responsibility, it's huge, because that alone, I mean, you working on yourself, working on that, will, I found in I mean, my marriage obviously is a lot shorter than your guys's, but when I met my wife, we were of the understanding, like, if we're old, well, now we're not old, but, we're in our 30s, and, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And, like, within the first 2 years, I
Yeah.
asked her to marry me. I'd say pretty much right around the time after we got married, and, like, before we had the kid, was, she's like, you need to start getting your ducks in a row, because she doesn't curse that much, which is funny, because look who she married. She says things like "gall dang it" and "shucks." She'll be like "shucks," but and I'm like "fuck," But she's like, I don't understand it. I'm like, I don't either. But and then ultimately it led me to going and actually talking. And for me, it was shit. I've been out of the army since 2011, so I mean, we're talking almost 10 years before I finally was like, okay. And I mean, man, I could think back to just how many people I've potentially
Yeah.
hurt because of unchecked aggression. You know what I mean? And, like, people would just treat people like they're not even part of my life. Like, they, like, like, if some like person treats me shittily, like, I mean, I could think of just right now off the top of my head, like, there was an instance at my school where one of the ladies didn't put in the paperwork to so my GI Bill didn't come through and I didn't get paid, and I was really relying on that money, and I was stressed out at that time. I mean, I was still kind of drinking and shit a lot, so I definitely wasn't working on myself. And I went to go ask her about it, and she was like, "Oh, I'm going on lunch," like, all with, like, an attitude, and I fucking flipped out. I don't even remember what I said necessarily, but I just remember it was definitely screaming, and cursing at her like she was, like she was a private. Like someone would just be like, "Listen here, you stupid piece of shit. Like I need, blah blah blah." And then like, looking back on that, you're like, "Why the fuck do you get to talk to
Yeah.
someone like that?" And I think ultimately, like when it boils down, like that's why I wanted to start something like this because like I don't know, dude. Like I feel like I hurt quite a bit of people leading up to kind of where I am today, and like if any of them ever hear this, like I want them to know, like that person doesn't really exist anymore. He's worked really hard to get rid of that guy, and um, yeah. So I mean, like that all kind of started with the family for me. And I know kind of Kevin, you were a little kind of talking about that in the same way. Um, just kind of like, that just kind of being able to use it to kind of check some of that, aggression or kind of that quick temper that we all kind of are known for as veterans. So, yeah, you want to talk a little bit about that, maybe? Hmm?
To me.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, Sergeant.
what was the question though? Like,
Oh yeah, fair enough. Just more along the lines of the same question though, like how has family kind of either helped or played a part in your, I'd say, path. We'll call it a mental health journey.
I think KZ over here hit it on the head, and I think I know I can relate because like my daughter and my sons are like night and day,
Yeah.
just because of the way I was whenever they were born and the way I am now and the way I see the way I was, and I'm like, it's the same thing, man. I'm like ashamed of some of the things the way that I've handled things as a parent in the past, and it's hard to
Yeah.
come back from. Uh, and then I
Do you
found
think?
out, so
Oh,
my
go
dad
ahead.
was in the Marines too, and then, but he like I didn't have a good a perfect childhood or anything, but like I didn't like I know I got whipped a few times at least, but I don't remember a whole lot of that. But then I found out when my brother came down here is that apparently when I was about 3, he beat me so bad that they ended up like having to do
Oh,
CPR on me. I guess I quit breathing.
holy shit.
And so that's when my dad apparently my mom told him this has got to stop. Like so that's when he calmed down.
So he was what? What war? So Vietnam, or
He
I'm
was he
sorry,
went to Vietnam
Marine.
4 different
4?
Yeah.
times.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus. Fine.
Yeah.
4 times though, dude. That's I mean, shit. How short? I wonder. Like, do you know like the length of those deployments?
Oh, I don't know. It was probably like 6 or 8 months or something like that.
Hey, you were
That's
talking about
that'd be
it's a hard thing to come back from. So do you I find myself doing this more and more, and it's a good thing, but it's also like it's a reminder of like, oh yeah, you were a piece of shit back then. Like like there are things now because I'm I've worked on myself and to handle things better on my personal relationship with my children and my wife. There are things now that come up every now and then, and they'll look at me and they'll go, "Dad or Kizzy, is this okay? Like, can we do this? Not for permission, but just like, is this going to set you off?" I'm like, no. I'm like, no, it's fine. I've moved on from
right.
that. Like I remember the first time that happened was like we were at a restaurant and we went to eat Mexican food, and Nikki was like, no, Dad needs to sit there because his back can't be to the door. And and I
I
no,
still like that. I don't care. Like that's one. I'll
and
still
I'm
I'll still hold on to that one.
and I was like,
That's a
nah, it doesn't
smart
matter.
play.
We're here to eat. Who cares? Like that's a stress I don't need in my life right
Right. Like I'll still eat, but if I
now.
can get that corner
So like
booth, I'm gonna get that corner booth. But yeah, like you
so
said, like I'll let that go. I'll eat.
do y'all find yourself like coming back from certain things that your family or loved ones have like walked eggshells around before?
I mean,
I mean,
I don't
yeah,
know.
because it's because they'll get to the point where they walk around
Yeah.
on eggshells all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially like back when I would drink a lot. So like they were always going through that. Now that I don't, it's kind of they you know uh they still do just because like if I tell the kids to do something and they don't, and then I tell them two, three more times and they still don't, then I'm
Yeah.
probably going to end up yelling.
Right.
So I mean, it's just like,
But you used your escalation of force.
yeah,
Your rules of engagement. You set those rules, and hey, I'm gonna, that's kind of I asked you nice. I asked you nice 6 times, and now I'm fucking
yeah,
telling you, and you will you will do it. I hopefully never have to get to that last
Oh
part, but
yeah.
I'm sure I will. I'm raising a young Turner, so he's gonna be
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
handful.
I've noticed a lot, and I think like it's a I've when I talked to Nikki about it, she reminded me like and my therapist too, like these are good things to notice because it means that you're working on yourself, and it means that like when things come
Absolutely.
up, you shouldn't be reminded as like a slap in the face of like, damn, like y'all are really acting this way because I used to act that way. But it should be looked at more of like, okay, that's who I used to be. I need to remind my family now that like I've grown from that, and we don't need to do that anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. My one thing, it was like before we go off the subject of that shame, because I mean it's pretty obvious we've all kind of felt that shame in our actions, and like, do you think that's kind of like, how hard it is to do, right? Especially, I don't know, like how many times you go down that spiral, it kind of gets harder every time, so you kind of hopefully to stop going down it. But I mean, do you think that, like, not, I mean, obviously not everybody is as resilient as we are, which hopefully, this kind of talk, on a platform like we're doing, kind of helps build that up inside of people. But like, do you think that maybe, you know, that shame is kind of like a leading kind of factor in people's, ultimate decision to cash out?
hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, 'cause it's something I've always kind of thought about. Like, like, like,
What made him
you
do
got
it?
the kids, you got the wife, you got the family. Like, you look so happy, and like, is something like that happen where you're just like, I cannot, I can't face myself. 'Cause I mean, I felt that shame before. Where you're just like, it's, yeah, I don't even want to look myself in the mirror, and I
I'd
Yeah.
don't know,
say
it's
it
it's hard.
probably is
Yeah,
a guiding factor in a lot of them because I was when I was in Louisiana, I got a DUI, and dude, Angela wouldn't get me out of bail me out of jail, and I mean, I felt like just the lowest piece of shit on earth, man. And that's the lowest I've ever been. And
yeah,
I didn't think about uh, moving on or anything like that, but I was just kind of like, if I was one of those people, if I was going to do that, right now would
Mm,
probably be that time.
right. Yeah, I've
So
definitely
yeah,
had that thought a few times. Like, yeah, this would be that time where, someone could give in or someone could give up. But, and again, that word resiliency, dude, fucking resiliency. That is, I mean, it's huge. It's like Rocky Balboa. So, he taught us when we were young. Not enough people watch Rocky. It ain't about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving. Like, your fucking life is gonna keep beating the shit out of you unless you learn how to push forward.
yeah.
You're never gonna be able to fight back. And I think that's one thing. Somewhere along the line, those guys, or those people, they lose that fight that we all kind of had in us. And I think some of these things we've already kind of talked about. Like, there's so many other things you can do instead of sitting around the house sulking in it, basically pickling your liver. Like, you
yeah,
don't have to do that shit. You get outside, fresh air, dude. Get some vitamin D in you. Throw some plastic frisbees in the air and chase them and go throw them again, dude. It sounds simple. It sounds dumb. It's fucking awesome. Takes you all over the place, dude. Everywhere's got a disc golf course. They got them in Mexico now. They got them everywhere. But yeah, man. I think that's I mean, it's a hard thing to do to kind of get out of that again, you know. And like if there's one thing I could preach, it's like if you ever feel yourself like you can't look in the mirror, like you don't, like you're just absolutely ashamed of yourself, just do it, dude. Just tell yourself, like KZ, or I can't remember who said it with the two of you. It's like, you know, like that's not, you know, you don't have to be ashamed of that. You can learn from that. You know, as long as you have the support system in your life, or you know, I think it's huge. The support system's huge. You know, my wife has been an angel for me in this aspect of like just being able to calmly tell me like, hey, listen, like this isn't going to work for me. You know, like I'm not going to put up with this. Okay, I'll get it fixed because, you know, I love this woman. You know, I got
Yeah.
lucky on Bumble one night, you know,
And for
and here I am.
that's a good point. But in the support system, find yourself a support system. It's easier said. It sounds so cliche, but that really is the first step. Once you realize that you need help, that's the first step. Was that what I forgot what I wrote on that video, but I meant it when I wrote it. We'd rather, like, as your battle buddies or friends of military service, whatever, we'd rather hear from you than read about you. So like that's, yeah, I forgot who told me that or
Yeah,
where I
for
read
sure,
that
man.
first. I said, yeah, that's that makes sense. I would rather hear from you than read about you. So for those guys that aren't married, that don't have the opposite sex or same sex relationships, like reach out to your battle buddies. Those guys and girls that wore the uniform with you that are still in or out. Just reach out to them, talk to them, because they'll listen to you. Oh yeah, reach out to
Or
us.
reach out to
Hey,
us.
I had
We're
a
here.
not to go too far off topic, but still on mental health. I saw a clip on YouTube, I think, or TikTok, because I'm addicted to social media. But it was this guy was talking about mental health for one. He was talking about mental health, and he was comparing first responders to military veterans, right? And he said like, you know, we
Mhm.
we deploy for like 15 months, and then or a year or 6 months or 9 months. But we deploy for months at a time, and then that could be it, right? We could our service could be done, our contract could
Could
be
be,
over,
yeah.
and we get out when we transition into civilian life. We have the rest of our lives to deal with what we saw in those 9 months or 15 months versus first responders who like see that stuff every day. Y'all ever think about that?
Mhm.
I've never thought about
Absolutely.
that.
I do actually. What do you think about like that's their job? Like you said, like it's every day, and they don't get a chance to process that shit, and they're dealing with it. I mean, like, and then you know, some guys, you know, they have like limited experience with that kind of stuff overseas. You know,
Yeah.
some guys ain't had to see that. Some guys did. You know, and these EMS gets called in the worst situations. Car accident, someone needs to get pulled out of their car. I mean, they're seeing that. They're seeing the worst every time, every day. I mean, they're probably them. I mean, firefighters, police officers. I mean, I bet those guys have some of the same issues, you know, from just a different origin than we do. You know, it's they don't have time to process it. I mean, my brother, he's a dispatcher for the Eau Claire area police department. So he handles a lot of the emergency calls. And I mean, I mean, he hasn't really gone into a whole lot of detail from it, but I'm sure he wasn't expecting like to be basically gone, goes so deep so fast. You know, like before he was off training,
Yeah.
he was like, holy shit. And like, are you sure that's what you want to do? You know, like once you peel back that layer on human society and you realize that there's really a fucking dark, nasty element to humans and you see it, it's hard to unsee. And I think that's like another part of some of our issues is like we go over there and you see the shit that people do to each other and you're like, dude, like it's everywhere. Like you can't unsee
Yeah.
it, you know, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
this shit's happening everywhere. It's not just, people don't just get killed in Iraq, they get killed on the streets here, they get killed everywhere and like
Yeah,
fucking
that's
EMS
and
guys
that's
clean that
I
shit
think
up
that's
every
what
day.
that's like that got me thinking like really that really got me thinking because I was like that's a tough that's like they see that stuff every day versus like I was deployed 4 times, but I have the rest of my life to 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 navigate my way through um how I'm thinking and how I'm reacting and stuff versus these guys out there. And for a quick
Right.
minute, and if I offend any first responders, I'm sorry. My father works for the sheriff's office and my mom's a dispatcher. So like I heard that and I was like, I guess what I got, like my end of the deal wasn't that bad. Like I hate to sound so blunt, but like it's we really do have the rest of our lives to figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. You get to lay out like a plan, like, oh, I wanna work out 3 days a week. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make sure I get out, and they're like, and you got like those one or four things that trigger you because of the experiences you had, but they could have fucking 80 different things that trigger their anxiety or their PTSD. They could be in a car, they could see a red car and they remember a time that they had to pull a little girl out or something, and all of a sudden they're like back in there. But they're still working on another, like, I don't know, like no, nope. As
Yeah,
much as I
I
would, I
wouldn't.
would love to be able to do that. No, I can't.
My hat's off to them, but I couldn't do it.
Absolutely,
I couldn't do it either.
man. No.
But when I moved to South Carolina, that was my first option was to just to go join the sheriff's office where my parents worked. And my Nikki was like, "You're insane." It's like
Yeah,
you still.
don't do that.
Well, actually,
Oh,
I
that's
did
cool
want to be a
though.
game warden. If I was going to go into law enforcement, I would like. I mean, I would still, if the opportunity was
That'd be a cool
presented
job.
itself.
You'd probably work. You'd
Is
probably
that
do
what
real good at
is,
that too.
is that what Kevin Costner
I
does in
think I would.
Yellowstone? Come on, man.
I don't know.
Oh well, I've never seen it.
Well, it's cool.
I never watched it.
Yeah, I haven't either. I thought he was a
I'm not
rancher.
in. I thought he was Dancing with Wolves again. I thought it was Dancing with Wolves too.
No,
It's
it's
not.
close, I think.
It's
All
the
right. So
prelude.
Kevin Costner, why don't you let us know what it is? So I don't know anything. We don't know anything
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Yellowstone on this website, on this podcast, because they're not paying us for it. Kevin. No, but I don't like. I've never watched Game of Thrones either, and I'm not one of those. Like if everyone's watching it, I'm like, that show probably sucks. And then I was like, I thought about watching it, but then like I watched how
What?
it ended, and I watched how the entire world got duped by that shithole of a show. And they were like, everyone was so pissed at it, and they're like, oh, I can't believe it ended like this. Like, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I just know that it sucks.
It kept me entertained. What so um so we know, yeah, but it's all right because
We got off track.
we're talking about entertainment, so that got me thinking about like outlets and stuff. So what I know Kyle, you like to do. I feel like your hands on, yeah, disc golf, and you're
Disc
like your hands on
disc
a lot of
golf.
stuff, which I love because you're yeah.
Yeah, I kind of
What
dabble in
about
everything. I like to
what
get
about you,
out,
Dawson? Like
do some
what's
ice
your
fishing.
one like vice like um and it doesn't have to be like when things are bad, but like what is one thing that you can always count on outside of family that'll make you um, that'll just calm everything down? Fishing?
Really just being outdoors. Uh, I mean, I like hiking and hunting, going out shooting guns. Whatever I can do to get out. But I'd say fishing is probably the
That's cool.
top choice.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get more into that because the disc golf courses here they flood after all this snow melts. 'Cause most of them are on the river, so they'll flood out, and then I'll probably only get like a month or two to play out here. So the fishing's definitely gonna be huge. I'm gonna get me a little puddle jumper, dude, and I'll get out on these flooded rivers and catch me some catfish.
You need to start bass fishing.
Why?
Yeah, probably will.
That's hard.
That top water.
That's,
Why?
that's part of
Catfish
the
is so
fun.
easy.
Yeah.
My wife would be.
I also thoroughly
Dude, I would
enjoy
go.
ice fishing.
I would go
Sitting
and
in
be
my
gone
shack with my
all
boots
day.
off.
I would go and be gone all day. And my wife and come back and I wouldn't catch nothing. And my wife would be like, "How do you go fishing for 8 hours and
It's
not catch
quiet.
anything?" And I'm like, "Well, I didn't fish in the same spot for 8 hours. I'll tell you that. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
all over
peaceful.
the place. Yeah.
That's like you keep trying to catch one, and before you know it, 8 hours have passed."
Yeah, you're like, oh shit,
You're
nice. You can go home and eat some dinner.
oh
What
man.
about you, Bowden? What do you do? Yeah.
CrossFit, CrossFit.
I
Too.
do CrossFit!
No, I
You
was
know
gonna
you
say
were
something else,
dying to
but
talk
this
about
is not that type of
CrossFit.
podcast.
It
No,
involves jelly
no,
Butt
and
stuff.
buttholes and, and butt stuff.
yeah,
Mowgli used to send us the nastiest pictures when we were like when we first got. I remember we first got back from that first deployment when we got smartphones. You would like text us pictures of like poop or like weird nasty stuff, and then we'd be in the same room and you would just wait for our response. He'd be like, "Did you get your text yet?" No. Ding. Oh, he's like, eating some kimchi.
kimchi's the shit.
Ugh.
Kimchi's good.
I
Yeah, I
like
mean,
kimchi.
I like to work out. I don't.
Ugh.
Yeah, I like to work out. We slowly started building the garage into like a home gym, but I broke my
Nice.
barbell last week. So no, not too much weight. I was just
Too
too
much
amped.
weight,
Like
huh?
I yeah. I did the CrossFit thing, and I just slammed down the ground because I was super stoked that I hit the weight that and like it just
Yeah.
it broke.
It's
Yeah,
nice when it's their shit, isn't it?
yeah,
It's nice when it belongs to the gym,
yeah. So
but
like,
when it's yours, you're like, oh,
and the one we
it's
got was we
expensive.
bought it from one of our neighbors for like $100. So now I have to go spend $400 to replace it. So yeah, that's fun. That's what I do.
But you
How
feel like a
much?
real
400?
dummy.
Yeah,
Yeah, good
yeah.
barbells
For
are
the one
expensive.
for the
For
one I
the
want,
ones
it's
you could
like
throw around
the
like that.
cheapest one you can buy is like $300. Just because the weight.
You don't have to throw
Well,
them
the weights
around, CrossFitters. You don't have to.
and the way it's made, it's
You can
like
just lift them.
I don't know. There's science. There's Einstein behind it. There's math behind it. Where there's whip in it and it feels good. Whatever.
Ooh, sounds kinky.
Yeah, I I
We're
wish
getting
I
off
could.
track again.
I need to go fishing. We got a lake river something out here, and the kids want to go.
You need to go. You need to go disc golfing. You got probably
Yeah,
a shitload of
yeah,
good
and they're
disc
all
golf
open
courses
too,
by you. I know you
because they're
do.
just like randomly placed in parks.
Yeah. Yeah, most of them are in parks. A lot of parks. Sometimes golf courses will set up a course like along their golf course. It doesn't use the golf greens and stuff, but you can play on golf courses, which is pretty cool. We did one in Colorado that one of the pros designed in Boulder. It was pretty badass because we got to rent golf carts, and play on the course like we were golfing. And obviously, you don't throw as far as you can hit a golf ball, but it's still kind of fun to, it's usually a walking sport, so fun for a change up to be able to drive the golf carts around and shit. And there, I played a lot of mountain courses in Colorado too. So I'm actually going back next month in May to go play a tournament and get some mountain courses in.
That's cool, dude. I miss fishing. I wish that's something that's a personal struggle of mine that I still haven't overcome. I'll get there one day. It just takes me going out there to go fish. I haven't like
Start taking
they want to go because they
your
used
kids
to go
with you.
fishing with their grandparents or Nikki's grandparents all the time in Waco, or at least with the summer they were there. It's just the last time I was like truly addicted to fishing was in Kansas when I was a Steel. I haven't fished since, so I don't like going out there. If I go out there, I don't want to be by myself. Yeah, that's
Be
one of
with
those
you.
things I still have to. I know I got to overcome. All it takes is just getting myself out there. Yeah,
Yeah, man. He'll be with you. He ain't gonna let you fish alone.
I don't know how to. I don't know how to.
You know that
I
dude.
don't know how that
You know
dude
that dude
caught
ain't
it.
gonna
That dude
miss
would stay
a
out
fishing
just like
trip.
Dawson said. He used to stay out there for like hours. It's like, don't you got PT to run the next morning? It's like, yeah, I got to be there at 5:30. It's like it's 2:30.
Yep. Yeah. I know. No, I lived with the dude. I know. He would stay up all night watching Pantera videos and then go to PT after just being up. Literally, like he'd like come in my room like, "Did you ever go to sleep?" He's like, "No." Been watching this Pantera video, playing with my scorpion. Like,
What?
man, don't let that fucking thing out, man. He had a scorpion in our apartment.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, I was like, do not let that fucking thing out, man. I don't want to wake up and have a scorpion in my house because he liked to play around. So I told him I was like, please God, do not come in my room with that shit. All fucking hey. Fucking
So
Nichols,
damn Friday safety
still my
briefings right
man.
there. Do not play with wildlife.
Yeah. Don't bring the scorpion to your roommate's room while he's sleeping. Safety briefs. They just basically give you a list of shit to do if you're bored. You know what? It's like, what did First Sergeant say not to do? Oh, we should do that. So yeah, that got anything else where we want to talk about tonight? Or I know we've kind of mentioned outlets. We mentioned kind of talking with the families and
Yeah,
such and
I've been
such and so and
underlining this
stuff.
thing because I can't wait to look it up when I lay down. Louisiana Heroes for Hunters. Hunters. Did I write
Hunters
that
for
wrong? I mean,
Heroes.
no, I wrote it. I wrote it. I just said it wrong.
HometownHeroOutdoor.org as well.
Yeah,
But
man,
yeah,
I'm good. I think I think we covered. I like what we covered today.
well, we did ask him a question last time that he
Oh
had a
yeah,
pretty
and I'm
solid
sure
answer
I
for. I
butchered
know you
it.
kind of quoted it, but I butchered it. But we're kind of so we're gonna wrap it up here. So I do want to ask you we're gonna ask you a question we asked you last time to like just kind of like leave the soldiers. If someone's listening to this transitioning, if someone's listening to this going through anything, or just give them a little bit of that. That Kevin Dawson knowledge, that give him a little piece of that advice.
Uh, what was the question?
Like,
The,
what would be the one advice you give to transitioning soldiers or service members right now?
yeah. It was based. I mean, basically, carry the Army values with you in everything in life. Because think about it, loyalty. It's not just to the Army, and it's to your family. Your duty. You got duty to your all the Army values. If you live by them, you ain't gonna go wrong. I mean, it's and if you're so mad at the Army when you get out that you just want to reject the Army values or whatever, like it's some kind of religion or something, then pick some kind of values and morals and live by that, and you can't go wrong. And then, when you get out, when you pick a profession, be a professional. Whatever you do, if you're gonna cut grass, cut the fuck out of some grass. If you're gonna be if you're gonna drive a shit truck, then
Yeah.
clean up all that shit. I mean, whatever you do.
You're gonna shovel shit in the circus. You'd be the best damn shit shoveler in the circus.
Yep. I mean, that's what I'll,
Yeah, man,
I'll tell people.
absolutely.
Hey, I'll be the guy running behind the elephant in the circus for the right amount of money.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's
Yeah.
what you're there to do. You make money and put food on the table and go home. So, and that was about it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some fucking.
Damn, I like
that's
that.
some knowledge.
Yeah, I
for that
totally.
ass. Live
I
those
totally
values,
butchered that shit.
man. Live those values. Yeah, you butchered it, but it's all right. It's all right. We get the idea.
That's why.
We know. Basically,
I have to go back and listen to the episode now.
No, yeah,
and see what he did.
Yeah, I put out a little.
Yeah,
I put out a little clip of
fucked it up.
Oh, yeah. I totally butchered that. That's why there's only one Kevin motherfucking Dawson. That's why.
It's true. It's true. Top tank.
Yep.
It's true. Boughton shot top tank
Yeah.
once too after he left us. As a
Yeah,
gunner.
boy.
What?
Yeah. It's pretty badass. That's one thing I missed, dude. That was a fun week. Or what was it? 2 weeks? Week? I don't remember. It was fun. That was
Gunnery?
yeah, gunnery. Because our gunnery wasn't like a traditional. It was the first time they did like what table. We didn't. I don't know.
Did
It was
all of
different
You're
tables.
not,
I
man,
remember.
you're not. That was the
all of
worst
them.
time. No, it wasn't the worst time. I had a horrible gunnery.
Well, yeah, you guys were on the pimped out tank. Well,
Well, that was
poor
also
Nichols got pimped out to everybody to load. Sergeant Dawson was on RSO like the whole time. So I mean, me and
Yeah.
Rooster and Gallo were just chilling. He was just like, "Hey, stay in the tank, don't get in trouble." Roger that. Hey, we were ready. Anytime he came down, he's like, "We got to go shoot right now." We're like, "Fuck." I just woke up. Like, let's go, I guess.
It was like-
we went out and fucking performed, baby. I remember that too. He came pulling up in the Humvee. I'm like, someone's pulling up. Rooster's fucking sleeping in the hall. He's like, there's Sergeant Dawson. Like, oh shit, here we go. Because I remember you were busy the whole time. They had you, range safety. So you're up there in the tower or wherever.
Yeah,
So basically, whenever you
tower
got a
and-
chance, we
Tower and RSO.
were chilling
I was
in
right
that
around the
tank.
time like I was recovering.
Feet up. Gallo was loading
Was he?
some fake heat rounds, though. I'll tell you that much, because I was worried. Yeah, oh yeah. And I was like, dude, you got to show me that you even know how. We had to teach him how before we even started. We're like, he just got there. He got there like as we're loading the tank for gunner. They're like, this is your new private. And I'm like, hey. He's like, hello, I'm Gallo. And he starts humming show tunes, and I'm like, oh, this will be fun.
Check this shit
It'll
out.
be great. Oh, we're going into the garage to see the good shit. For those of you who don't have video right now, you're gonna be jealous. That's my cool shit. The tank round. I know Sergeant Dawson's got
Oh
something.
shit!
Ooh.
Can you
Why's
see
it
it?
got Del Pozo's name on it?
Because he gave it to me.
Why's it? Scratch that name off. Put Kevin Dawson on it. I'll send you. Is it vinyl? I'll scratch it. We'll put your name on it. But no, that's cool as hell.
I
Where did you
didn't-
get that for? When he was at Killer Troop?
I don't even know. Probably. But I just didn't take his name off of it because in case he sees it again. Fuck, you took my name off of it? Kind of out of respect.
For the gunnery. So after that gunnery, remember we were talking about how it was raining its ass off, but you remember what happened after that gunnery? What day it was, or that significant event that happened at Fort Hood when we were on Crisis Reaction Brigade at the time of that Fort Hood shooting, dude. You remember that shit?
Was that a gunner?
Yeah,
we
we
got
did we even
That was
finish
we were at the
gunnery?
wash rack. No, we did. We finished gunnery, or no, was it not gunnery? It might have just been a field, but we were at the wash rack
We were
Oh, yeah.
just in the
from
field.
something. Yeah.
No, remember we had to go
Oh,
into
it
the
was a
wash
field
rack.
thing.
We finished the
Yeah.
wash rack at like 1:00 in the morning. Had to be on
We
guard.
left our shit there. We left the tanks there, I remember, because they were like, we got to go. sit on gate duty and shit. Me and Simmons were on the damn gate.
Oh yeah,
That shit
dang.
was crazy, dude. We didn't even know. Like at first, we just got the net call. They're like, this is a real life situation. The fucking someone shot up the SRC or
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Soldier Readiness Center. We're like, what? And we were on task for that crisis reaction brigade at the time, so
I remember.
we're like, hey,
F-
wheels up,
I remember
bitches.
White. I remember White Four looking at me like I was like the biggest like the biggest idiot because we didn't have cell phones. He was I think tank commanders were the only ones that had cell phones out there during that field problem,
Yes,
and he was
I did not have
and he
mine.
was, he was like, Bowden, here, call your parents, tell them you're okay. And I just I called him, and it was a voicemail, and I was like, hey, mom, dad, there's been a shooting. I'm fine. Love you, bye. He's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Short, sweet, to the
It's like,
point.
Sergeant did
Don't
exactly
want
what
to
you
waste
wanted me to do. Here's your phone back.
Here you go.
Yeah, I forgot all about
Yeah,
that.
dude, that's good times. Good times. Well, not really. Obviously not. But Jesus, that's just shit that I forget. Like damn, I was there. We were on Fort Hood when that happened. You
Yeah.
think of that. I don't even think does that guy even
What was it? November
Major
8th?
Major Hassan. Yeah,
Yeah,
November 8th, wasn't it?
yeah.
I
Or
think
the
so.
11th?
No, I think it was the 8th. You know what? Yeah. I
November 5th, 2009.
dang.
November 5th, 2009, a mass shooting took place at Fort Hood near Killeen, Texas. Nadal Hassan, a U.S. Army
Mm,
major and psychiatrist, fatally shot 13 people and injured more than 30 others. Yeah, I remember that, dude. We were on gate duty. We had to guard the hospital where some of the victims were. I remember there was like a daycare that we had had a post at. Uh,
The front gate,
fuck yeah,
the visitor
yeah, front
center.
gate. I went from front gate. I think me and Sergeant Simmons went from that, and we were on front gate for like 18 hours straight.
I had the
I remember that, dude. That
I had the
sucked.
PX in the
But
commissary. That was
we had no idea what was going on either. We were just like, I remember when we first got there, it was still like, cause we were coming out of that wash rack, and we come out, and then they're like, go grab your vests, and here's, 5 rounds, and then I remember getting out of the back of the MRAP at the front thing. Me and Sergeant Simmons are like, full combat mode. I remember Sergeant Major Hines. He's like, hey, relax. I'm like, wait, like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean relax? There's somebody like, no, like they got him. I'm like, oh, okay. See, like, we just been spun up. Like, I don't know. I'm private. Nobody tells me shit. Get in the truck, Turner. Roger. You're fucking going to the front gate for the next day. Got it.
I got so much free food from the commissary and the PX when we had to guard it. I forgot who I was with, but like right behind one of the poles, there was we had like a cachet of Red Bull donuts, beef jerky. Just people were so nice. They're like, hey, how long have you been here? It's like, oh, I think we're. I'm like, I don't
Forever.
know when we're leaving. I think we're here until someone comes. Are you
I just gotta
like, are
chill.
you hungry? It's like, no, I just ate. Actually, yeah, I'm a little hungry. It's like,
That was the first time I had a buffalo chicken MRE.
ooh, those are good.
Shit was good. I like
Those are
those.
good.
Well, yeah, man, that's a good little. I think that's a good way to wrap it up. Covered everything from outlets, families to friggin' extra stacks of Red Bull on guard duty. I mean, what else can you get? All right here at the Veteran Chat Project.
Was
Powered by Riverside FM.
Fuzzy pickle.
It's true. Oh, they'll go buzzy up them pickles. Shit, yeah. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for coming on. And God bless and good night.
All right, man.
And
Y'all want me to come back
oh.
on later on?